What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another early afternoon in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And this afternoon in the BrewLab, continuing to talk Edge of Eternities spoilers and doing a sort of it's not really a top 10 list, but a list of my favorite card from each color and also the card that I think will end up seeing the most standard play. So like the most impactful, I think, card from each color. And we'll be doing this for colorless, of course, as well as multicolored. So stay tuned. We're following the WUBERG acronym. Now it's blue. Next up will be black. I always have to do that because of, blue and black start with the same letter. So they made it WUBERG by picking the second letter from, or, WUBERG. The U in WUBERG is for blue. So I'm gonna keep the client open in all of these videos in the background in case I need to jump in and talk about something referring to cards that are available. And I've already filtered out the stuff that's going to be rotating out. So my personal, in terms of shenaniganery and brewing potential, card from blue, and believe me, this was super hard because blue is my least favorite color, and usually these videos are really easy for me to do when it comes to blue because I just pick like some sort of like card draw spell, something that's obviously going to be good. But this time around there was actually lots of cards that I liked in blue, which is surprising. So there's more than one. There'll be like my actual favorite and then the runner-up, and the same will go for the most impactful and the runner-up. I think it's quite obvious. It has to go to the freaking Moonlit Meditation over here. This card has shenanigans stapled all over it. Just like I can think of already 3 things just looking at it, and then like it goes so much deeper. So you enchant an artifact or creature you control, and for the first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn. You may instead create that many tokens that are copies of enchanted permanents. So goes just as well, with something as simple as, the most obvious one that I can think of would be synthesizer, right? And then whenever you cast another thing, you'd make first off a copy of that synthesizer, but then that entering the battlefield would trigger both, the one before, and it would just get exponentially out of control. But there's a lot of like downside to that because you're playing a enchantment that doesn't trigger synthesizer in your synthesizer deck. It can get fetched by the battle, what's it called, the United Battlefront. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg. I cannot wait to brew with this thing. It looks absolutely bonkers. I can't wait to try it. But the runner-up was, and I think this may come as no surprise to anybody, Emissary Escort. Like this aggressive artifact decks have needed something, and the 2-drop slot is the weakest slot in that. I've tried Boros, I've tried, if there is going to be one with like, maybe topping out at 4 mana, aggressively slanted, non-synthesizer artifact deck, I think the Emissary Escort will be a part of that. And it's got, again, all the right creature types for other shenanigans I have planned. Stay tuned. Yeah, I think this one's going to be definitely, you'll be seeing a lot of this one in BrewLab videos and probably just in standard in general. But when it comes to what I think will actually be the most impactful card to the format in blue, not necessarily one that I like, but when you actually look at the meta and what's going to be left and yada yada, this is, I think, going to be the most impactful card from blue from the set. Consult the star charts. 2 mana with kicker for an additional 2. Instant speed. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand. If the spell was kicked, put 2 of those cards into your hand instead. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. finally, like, you know, because of course stock up is amazing, right? But it's sorcery speed. Like there's a lot of control decks that would rather have instant speed, and this just has such a much higher ceiling. I think this is going to see a lot of play. It'll take maybe a little while for people to figure out what the best deck. It may end up seeing play alongside stock up in these Izzet decks, maybe. Who knows? But just the raw like quality of the card is clearly going to be like impactful. And like I said, this category also has a runner-up. I think the next most obvious one is going to be the synthesizer lab ship, and like probably that ties in with my point about the more aggressively slanted, not necessarily synthesizer deck that's going to be hopefully appearing after the rotation. I think the lab ship here is freaking nice card. Like of all of these station spacecrafts, this one is the like most obviously like good one. There's some other really nice ones that I think are maybe just a little less obvious and people aren't so high on because of all of this station cost. But there's a series of these spacecraft that have 2 different station abilities, and one that it'll eventually like turn it into the creature, or you know, whatever, that it's fully stationed. But then they've got like a cheaper one that you can get some value off of it immediately. And considering the cost efficiency, 1 mana, get this going right away. You know, if you again, I've been doing these videos now, and I don't necessarily want to like give away too much because of cool stuff that I want to surprise you with doing early access. But some people that I've watched their spoiler content for have like almost caught it, but never quite went all the way with this card. But actually, if you think about the cookie deck, you could play your turn 2 the cookie guy that makes a food, right? So immediately on turn 2, you use the summoning sick cookie you've just played to do the +2. And then that means at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness. So you make the food into another 2/2, and then you use that to pay for the second station cost. And then on turn 3, you can like think of anything else that you could play, like whatever. There's so many good things that you could play on turn 3 that would then immediately allow you to turn this into a 4/4 flyer. Like I've done the math. You can on turn 3 like actually swing with this guy if you play it correctly. And you know, you will also be getting the little robots flyers. I think this card is like legitimately busted, but the reason why it didn't get the first place is because it fits in less decks. It's more narrow. But still really, really good card. And if there is going to be like a good sort of artifact aggro spacecrafts, I think this is going to be a part of it. But that is it as far as blue. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What would you have picked in these categories? And you know, what is your favorite cards from this color? Let's start a little conversation down there in the comments, and maybe start some theory crafting in the Discord group. Link will be in the description. The early access event is not too far, and then the set comes right after that, and rotation. Hallelujah freaking Luya. But that is it for this one. Peace, y'all.